How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make my favourite DJ Hearstring track. The track we're going to be looking at today is It Ain't Over. I just think this track is an absolute banger. I love the lead and I love the vocal. Here's a preview of the remake. Great, so the first thing we're going to look at, and the most important thing about this track, is the lead. Firstly, let's have a look at the MIDI. So the first part of the MIDI is just repeat itself. So it's the G up to the D, and that is the fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that just keeps going on and creates tension at the very start. Just keeps going on. Same as the bass, just keeps going on and on. But yeah, that really creates tension, especially, and it sort of gives a relief to the listener when it gets to this part. And the sort of melody comes in. If you have a look at the MIDI, we've got G up to D. So again, that's the same as the start, and that is just the fifth. And then it goes down to the next set of chords, which is the F, and again, that is the fifth. D sharp, you guessed it, above that is the fifth, the A, and then the E is the fifth up here. So it's basically this simple lead pattern. But instead they've added fifths, and also the best part about it, I'd say, is this little roll-ons. So this is the seventh and the ninth. So yeah, this is the exact same as the G. So what they've done there is they've got this note, which is the same as the F, and they've got the G, and they've just pitched them up an octave. I think they've done something very similar. So yeah, if you pitch these down, it would go F down to D, and they've just pitched them up an octave. And this, if I pitch these down, let's have a look. So that's just the same as this, just pitched up. So again, you could try and play around someone else. I mean, all the notes kind of work, to be honest. Maybe like that. So obviously this does sound different, but it's sort of a taste thing. And there's no huge rhyme or reason. Obviously you could have it higher, and that still sort of works, you know. So yeah, any sort of variations do work. But yeah, obviously feel free to pause the video and copy these notes. I'll just zoom out for you. Yeah, so if you want to have a copy of them, go for it. If you have a look at the synth sound, and maybe the most important part of it, yeah, this is actually a preset for my Trance Volume 1 pack. You can get that from the link in the description. Yeah, this pack is sick. I can't stop using it, especially when I'm making Trance. I've downloaded a few other people's packs and they just don't compare, to be honest. I know that's probably biased, but I'm sticking with it. So yeah, this pack has over 65 presets. It's basically got tons of leads. If I show you now, look, it's got loads of leads and basses and pads, basically everything you need to make in Trance, like DJ Hearstring, DJ Daddy Trance, and all that sort of lot. Even if I was just to change this lead sound, you're still gonna get some bangers. Like even that one's sweet. And it's like, no one's got these sounds, so it's like your own individual thing. Like none of the DJ Heartstrings and shit are using these sounds. Like even that's fucking sweet. Like even this, like it's got to be turned up. Do you know what I mean? They all just fucking work. The original, let's have a look how it's made. In oscillator A, we've got this PMW Juno. So if you go to analog, find this. This is a Juno waveform, which is, if you look in the background, this is actually a Juno synth. So it's a waveform from this, and it's sort of, as you can see, it's like a saw wave with like a square top to it. As you can hear, as it does look a bit fucked, it's actually got a nice sort of character to it. And yeah, that's obviously being controlled. The level of that is by envelope 2. Yeah, so that's basically coming up when this is. If I was to make this longer. We've also got envelope 1, so this is the amplitude envelope. So it's nice and short and plucky. sort of like an 80s vibe. And then we've got these effects. So we've got this hyper. Without it, really makes a big difference. And then got some distortion, which is actually really high, 76%, and about 43% wet. That chorus is actually turned off, so that can be gone. We've then got this compressor. Makes it a bit louder and like better in the mix. And of course, making it nice and shimmery with this reverb, which is on Hall mode. Make sure it's not on plate. Doesn't have the same effect. Quite a high decay of 5.4 seconds. I mean, it's just a fucking good sound, this. Now, let's move on to the bass. Start with the MIDI. So yeah, the bass starts on the same root note of G, but rather than going down, as you sort of expect it would, like following the lowest note in this, the bass note of that, it actually does the complete opposite. It goes up, and it just sort of scales up. So if we were to switch it in key, so what we G minor, it's just going from first to third, fourth, fifth, sixth to the seventh. So it's just climbing up nicely. Yeah, pretty nice progression. So if we play those together. And they all work nicely together. None of them actually clash. Yeah, let's have a look at the preset. Again, yes, from the same pack. It's the bass in over preset. So yeah, it's a really nice plucky bass. We've got a saw wave in oscillator A. And again, this is a saw wave, basic shapes in oscillator B. And this is actually the same thing. But yeah, one is pitched down by 2 and one is pitched down by 1. So I'll turn it off. It's very, very deep. If I turn this one on, it sort of sits a little bit higher up in the scale, thickens it up on its own. Too weak, but together, nice and like throaty. Yeah, we've used this filter to roll off some of the top end without it. It's gonna sound like ass. Yeah, it's pretty simple. We've got this nice bit of distortion. Without it. With it, really brings it out. And then this envelope one is nice and short with a sort of curved down decay. Cool. And next we've got the drums. Yeah, so these drums are from the sister pack, which is the Trance drums pack. Obviously, that's on my website. The link for that in the description. Check that out. But you could just use other drums. I mean, the only thing I'd say that is a bit different with this pack is like the shaker loops are fucking banging. And I feel like you do need good shaker loops if you're making this sort of Eurotrance music to really like carry and drive the track forward. Because the genre itself is quite like driving, if that makes sense. It's almost like driving techno, but like driving trance. So yeah, you want something that keeps the track going. So you need a nice shaker loop. Sure, there's definitely others out there, but yeah, have a look for a nice driving shaker loop that just keeps going on. But without it, so boring. But with it, so it just brings the energy. So yeah, shaker loop, on top of that, clap. Sort of like a 909 with a nice bit of reverb on it. Then we've got this hat. Nice and crunchy. Then this offbeat clap, which has a reverb and some delay. About it. So it's basically, yeah, just on like the sort of prior beat. It's like the offbeat. It just gives it a bit of like groove. And then at the end of the bar, we've got this little clap. So this is basically just a clap repeating itself. Or it's a snare, but yeah, it's like a clap. You could use a snare or a clap. And then there's this, which is just another rim. This is actually from the Speed Garage pack, not the Eurotrance pack. So yeah, there's actually quite a lot of like offbeats. So there's obviously this. This. It's almost like a polyrhythm, sort of playing against each other. And then at the end. terms of effects, I've got no effects on the drum groups apart from obviously what I've showed you, like the reverb and the delay on the clap. Also, a little spot note, when you're doing your clap on the delay, make sure you've got it on notes mode, because I think automatically it puts it on dotted or triplet. But yeah, make sure you've got it locked into notes mode, otherwise it's going to sound a bit shit. On the bass group with the kick, I've got this drum bus, and on the kick I've got another drum bus. This basically just makes it beefier. And yeah, all I've got on the lead is this sidechain, but it's not really doing much. Turn it off. Barely noticeable. It just pumps it down a little bit so the kick can push through a bit more. But on theirs, yeah, they didn't have much sidechain, so I sort of left it quite minimal. Great, guys. Now at this end section, I'm going to show you what I'd do if I was to make my own sort of bass and lead from scratch. So I'm going to start with the bass. Let's change the key. Let's go for A minor, which might sound a bit crap, but we'll stick with it. So we're going to go A minor. I'm going to start with the bass. I mean, yeah, that's pretty simple. Great, so let's make the matching lead. So I'm in the key of A minor. Let's just start with the first note. So we're trying to get this lead to match the bass. And let's now try it with the fifths. Again, it might not work first time, but we're going to give it a go. So it's the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And that should be the fifth. Oh, I need to turn that so it's on off. Bang, bang. So I think that's a bit too much. Let's actually just try bringing this down, maybe here. Let's now add the drums in, just so I can hear what the sort of rhythm sounds like. Obviously, it sounds alright, not as good as theirs. I actually do prefer building a track when I've got a vocal. It sort of gives me something and like a harmony that I can work around. But yeah, now let's try add some of these sort of mad notes in. So what's this? Let's go up and let's match that. Bang. And what's that? Let's go up. And this one, go up. Oh, wait, no, that's the same. Okay, this one. Don't like that, so let's just maybe do something like this. Pitch it up, pitch this one up. Switch these. Again, look, I'm not saying it's as good as theirs, do you know what I mean? I've just done it off the cuff, but it sounds like alright. Let's maybe try add a vocal. Great, so with a vocal, this obviously just theirs, but I've pitched it up by 2, so let's just hear what it sounds like.
Don't tell me, baby, you're gonna leave. Cause you're the reason why I'm here on earth.
Cool. I mean, it sounds alright, so yeah, let's leave it at that. I hope you learned something in this video, and I will see you next time. As always, comment down below which videos you want to see next. I'm working on the next garage pack, so please comment down below any sort of speed garage or like banging UKG tracks, and make sure they're in the next pack. Cheers, guys.